What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Immersive Engineering. Today, guys, we're going to be setting up both the improved blast furnace and the advanced coke oven. Now, do not be fooled by the slightly different names of those. They are both going to be essentially getting the same upgrades compared to the very early game ones that we had set up over here previously. And the differences are going to be that they're very easy to automate now. They have distinct inputs and outputs that will auto eject items for us. And they will also have the ability to have preheaters added to them. 2 can be added to each one, and at the cost of some flux per tick, we are going to be able to triple the rate at which they are going to produce steel. So all in all, it's a pretty sweet deal. It does not cost too much to actually make these upgrades, but you do have to put a little bit of time and effort into actually setting up the automation, which is where most of our time is going to be spent today. Now, the one thing I want to cover before we actually jump into this is why we're doing this today rather than setting up the excavator, because some of you, those of you who have seen the last couple episodes where we set up the diesel generator for the last two, would know that I was saying we wanted to get this set up because I wanted to get the excavator set up and we needed this for power, and now we have all the power that we could possibly need from it, but we still aren't making the excavator, and that is because the excavator costs 3 stacks of steel. That's not all it costs, but that is roughly the amount of steel you need to invest into it to make it, because it is one of the more late game builds that uses a lot of heavy engineering blocks. And so I decided that rather than make a bunch of that steel and then throw all of it into the excavator, I was going to take about 1.5 stacks that we had at the time and put that towards making much better steel production, which in the long run will save us a lot of time. So it's kind of like buying a hybrid car or an electric car. You're making a little bit of an upfront investment and it will save you time in the long run, because in the amount of time that I would invest in making this and then letting it produce 3 stacks of steel, it probably would be the same amount of time I would have waited for the antiquated setup to produce the additional 1.5 stacks of steel. So that's my sort of roundabout way of explaining why we are setting these up today and putting the excavator off until next episode. So without further ado, let us jump into this. Now, this chest is getting pretty full because I've been tearing down a lot of stuff in the base, as you might see over here. Stuff looks a little bit different. We're slowly getting it to look a little bit better. This is also why we need a lot of steel, because there's a lot of steel stuff that's going into making this because it looks very nice. But what we're going to be using today are going to be these reinforced blast bricks, reinforced coke bricks, and do not be fooled, we need 27 of the blast bricks, but only 18 of the coke bricks, because we also are going to be using steel sheet metal. That is going to make up 1/3 of the coke brick build. I don't really know why this one has 2 blocks, whereas the other one just upgraded all the bricks in them. But then again, one is called improved and one is called advanced, so they're technically not exactly the same. But then we also are going to have a bunch of iron sheet metal and external heaters, because these are going to be used to make the preheaters. You do need different types of preheaters for the coke oven and blast furnace, but they both require pretty much the same stuff, just in different quantities. Then we need 2 hoppers. We're going to need 1 for each of these to automate, and then we're going to use 2 of them for the actual construction of the multi-block structure. The metal barrel for storing some of the creosote in it, because that is an output. Fluid pipes for piping it. Chests for automated input and output. Wire connectors, coils, and relays for bringing over the 32 flux per tick per preheater that we need. An item router for making this automated setup much easier, and then finally a bunch of different types of conveyor belts. I don't actually think we're going to be using dropping conveyor belts today, because I want to use hoppers, specifically so that they have a visible internal storage, and I do not believe that these do. So we're going to be working with all of this stuff, and I think that should really be it. So first things first, we got to get this guy out of here. He wandered into the wrong base. So if we open up the engineer's manual, the one that we're going to want to have on the left is going to be the advanced coke oven. Now, this one, like I said, is not constructed in the same way you would think. It uses the sheet metal on the side, but once it's done, it is going to look like this. So we just need to keep in mind when we're actually setting it up, which side needs to be where, because we want this side with the sheet metal to be in the back. You can see here the preheaters go on the left side here and the right side here, with the output in the very front and then the liquid output in the back, and you drop all of the stuff that you are putting into it in the top. So that's where the hopper is going to go. So I think we want the chest to be, hypothetically, I'm just going to start setting this up because I actually, while I was at work today, drew it out. So I think we want to do the 3x3 right here. So I'm actually going to break one of these blocks, or do I have any? Okay, I'm going to use a stone block right here because I think we want one to be in the middle here because we need room for the preheater on this side and the preheater on this side. And then I think we want another preheater. So we might need to dig into this wall one bit, I think, which is unfortunate because I'm going to have to get rid of this furnace here. But we will do that mainly because we may not need to, but eventually I do want to tear this whole wall down. And my inventory is completely full, unfortunately. But I think we're going to do that there. And then we're going to have preheater, preheater, and then the middle right here, and then another preheater over here. So we may end up tearing into this wall even further, but for now I think that should be good. So then we can get rid of this, and we are going to start with the coke brick and the steel sheet metal. So we'll do like this, and then the sheet metal in the back, and fill in the rest of it. So just again, 3 by 3 by 3, and then we have to put a hopper down on the very top. So I should have thought about this before I actually went and did that, because we now need to actually get up there. So we want to put a hopper down in the middle, and then I believe we should be able to click with the engineer's hammer right on this face here and make it. So there we go. We made it. It's oriented correctly, which is awesome. And you can see that we have, this is where the coal coke is going to come out. This is where the creosote is going to come out. And this is where one preheater and this is where the other preheater are going to go. And then in the very top is where the stuff is going to get dumped in. So we're actually going to inlay some of the conveyors in the ceiling, and maybe eventually we'll dig them out so we can see them. Now what we need to do is make the preheaters here. We have the blast furnace one here, which is very simple to make. We're going to make 2 of those. And then we've got the coke oven preheater here, and we're going to make another 2 of those. So they look a little bit different, each one very cool on their own though. And then we can come back in and start slapping these down to make sure we've got the room we need. So we're going to shift click it on there. They are pretty bulky, just keep that in mind. But you can see that we have where we're going to put the power right on the top. So I will put the connectors on there for now. Like I said, they use 32 flux per tick each. And then we can come over here and start constructing the blast furnace. And this one is a lot easier. Not that the other one was hard, but this one's going to be constructed the same exact way that we made the crude one. And then we just need to remember that we're going to be putting the hopper on the top. So I'm actually going to throw that down before we put the rest of the stuff down. And finish up here. And then click it, and there we go. So that one's good. And I wonder if I have either any creosote to make treated wood. So we do have some treated wood planks, because I do want to come in here and actually, I don't know why those chests are bugging out over there, but when I access them, I get a little bit of lag. So I don't really know why that's happening, but I do apologize. We're getting like little blips here and there. But now we can put down the preheaters for this. Okay, sorry about that, guys, but my cat decided that it was a very good time to start scratching at her scratching post, so it got quite loud considering that is right next to my desk. So cut for a bit, let her enjoy that, and now we are back. And we are going to have to rotate this one because we can't orient it properly, and we'll do the same with this one. So it does look a little bit wonky, and getting all the wiring in here will again be kind of wonky, but it'll be worth it in the end. So we're going to hop up and over here. Going to use the hopper to actually hop up. Ha ha ha. It's a horrible, not even a joke, it was just horrible. And then we'll just wire them out here very easily later. The only thing we got to keep in mind is when we're automating the production of this, we're not going to be able to, well, yeah, we can actually probably still go up there. So what we can do now is actually start setting this up, and it's unfortunate that we don't have an opening in the middle because that would look a little bit nicer. But now I'm thinking that we might want to put one of the chests over here to start, just because there's not really any reason to try and put it in the middle then. So what we're probably going to do is put it right here. And then we are going to, I think I'm going to need an extracting. I don't think I actually have one of those yet. An extracting conveyor belt. So we are going to need this, which means we are going to need some rods, which we can easily make. We should have some leftover ones. We have steel rods. I'm not about to use those. So we'll make some iron rods with the limited resources we now have. And then what else do we need for this? We needed the... Oh, tough fabric. I feel like we had some of that left over somewhere around here. Didn't we? I guess if we don't, we have plenty of stuff to make it. But, yeah, what did we use to make that? So a bunch of industrial hemp fiber and a stick. Well, like I said, we have a bunch of industrial hemp fiber left. I did get rid of the stuff up there, but we do have a bunch of it right down here, which is awesome. So we can run that out there. We do have some of the sticks, I believe. Was it a treated wood stick? Just a regular stick. Okay. Well, we will have to make one of those then. Oh, we have some over here. Great. We'll make a bunch of that, just in case we ever need those in the future. Actually, we just have a perfect amount from that. There we go. And there we go. So we got the curtains, and then we need to make an iron mechanical component, luckily for us again. And I wish these all got pumped into the same chest, but we do have a bunch of extra iron plates over here from that time we threw half a stack in. Slowly working our way through them, and then we also need a copper plate. So we'll throw a bunch of them in there too. Grab those when I get back out. It is a copper plate, right? Make that. Oh, it's just a copper ingot. Okay. I was getting ahead of myself there. But, yeah, so we'll dump all this extra stone stuff that we have in here because we don't really need it. And then we'll finish up crafting this. We will... Did we drop the treated wood back in here? Yes, we did. And the conveyor belts. So we'll get the extracting one. And then we will get our steel scaffolding. Luckily, we have one piece left. And then we can make the covered one, mainly because I like the way the covered ones look. And then we'll put that right here. So we are going to want to have it... Actually, there's not a huge reason to have it necessarily right here. We might want it right... Yeah, we don't want it in front of it, actually. Now that I think of it, because we are going to be dumping a bunch of stuff in the top. And then we want it to come out. So we do actually want it kind of in the middle here. And I'll tell you the reason in 1 second, because it's going to be wonky. I think it'll look cool in the end, but there's going to be a lot of conveyor belts working here because we are going to be putting some of them running up into the ceiling, and then we're going to have this here, and we're going to have the extracting conveyor belt pulling out of this chest and putting them in there, which is going to pull it up. It's going to send it up here, and then unfortunately you can't run up these things, which is sad. But then we're going to go through the ceiling, and we're going to come over, and really the challenge is going to be finding out how to wire the power to the rest of these things. But we'll come behind, and we're going to put a hopper up there, and we're going to put a hopper up there. So we're going to put one up. Nope, not like that. Okay. You know what? This thing's just being difficult right now. I need to bring some dirt with me from now on so we can actually build up sometimes. Oh, it's because this is here. That's why. Okay, there we go. Now we have access, so we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And we're actually going to have an item router up here. So we're going to want one more to come up, and we're going to want to rotate that. And then once we are up here, we're going to want a conveyor belt coming towards us, like so. All right, these are carrying it up, and then will it make it there? That's the real question that I need to know, because I've never really worked with the vertical conveyor belts. So if I put items in here, they'll come out, and then will it be able to... No. Oh, do I not need one right at the top? Okay, so it spills them over, so I assume the next one would be here. Right? Let's see about that. We'll put a chest in there. I mean, that's really nice if it saves us one. Does it? Because it definitely didn't come out. What is that? Why is it going all the way... Oh, is that another vertical one that I just put down? Oh my gosh. Okay, now it should work. That one is not a vertical one, I don't think. Yeah, okay, so that spills it over, which is awesome. So we are going to want an item router to be right here. And what we're going to do is this side is going to be blue. So this side, we're going to want to have coal going out. And that is it. Because that's going to be the coal that we input going to become coal coke. So we're going to do that. And I'll put charcoal in there too, since we can use either. Eventually, I should also put a block of coal. But there we go. So we have those going out that side. Over here, we're going to want to have iron. And we're also going to want to have coal coke too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some coal in here to start. So we have some stuff to work with. And then we'll grab out whatever coal coke we have. And we're going to want that to go out this side too. Because that's going to obviously both get dropped in the top. And so we want more covered conveyor belts, which are going to push in. Those should both be pushing into that hopper. And this one should be pushing in there. So I think that should be working. Everything should go out the correct side. And we can try that out by putting that in, and that in. And verifying that they all get where they're supposed to go. So the charcoal should eventually get dropped in here if we pull all this out. Unless we set it up wrong. So the iron and the coal coke are going in there. There's the potential that I set up charcoal wrong, or you can't put charcoal in there. I could have sworn that you can. But did it get sent the wrong way? Or did I even put charcoal in there? I did, so I guess charcoal can't go in there. I thought it could. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll rotate this back. So it is working. So they go the correct ways that they're supposed to. Now what we're going to do is this is going to come out the front, and we are actually going to push it back in here. So I want to see that this is able to push coal coke out the front. It is a little bit weird with how it's oriented. We do have the option of going straight and then over if we need to, because I don't know if this will actually work properly. Yeah, I guess we need to kind of wait and see. I should have let it run more. But yeah, regardless, then what we can do is everything's getting put in over here properly. Theoretically, once the coal coke comes out here, even if we need to use either non-covered ones or have it go straight and then over, it'll then get put back into this loop, and then the coal coke will go out there. So then the only things we have left would be getting the creosote out the back of here and getting the slag out of the back of here. And then, of course, getting the steel out of the front of here, but that's not as much of an issue, because if we really wanted to, then we could just put a chest right here, and it'll get input into that. So I actually think we're going to move this chest forward one. Oh, my axe is all the way over there. Yeah, so we're going to move this forward one, because I think what we're going to do is, in the end, put up some fencing here. But, did this one... Okay, so the output did work. This doesn't really look great, but it works. So we have that. And we do have the option, since we don't really need to use slag, of just making a chest and putting it down back here and then over here. Because we do want to use creosote. I am going to put a metal barrel out here, I guess. Maybe like right here. And we're going to actually just pump stuff in it. So... I'm trying to think. Maybe I go under and I come up here with the metal pipe, just because I think that's the best option to make wiring and stuff easier, and we'll just redesign it around that a little bit. Oh, and right into the mine. That's great. Well, we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with that looking kind of gross then. Yeah, so I got a little bit close to the outside of the base when I was making this. I do have my fluid pipes. Whoops. And... did it? There we go. Connects down there. I want to get that treated wood. Okay, we're going to break this one. We're going to break as many as we need to pick up the rest of this treated wood. Because I am determined. And then... there we go. So now this should be filling up. Yep, so it took all of that out of there. And now we can put down the treated wood planks that we broke up. And then we can put down another torch somewhere. Not that I really think we need it, but we'll put one down. So we have all those set up now. And really, other than wiring this stuff, we're pretty much set to go. So I think we're going to grab out the low voltage wire relays and start placing them down in places where I think we could at least try and hook this up. It might be actually better if I kind of moved it like over here. And let's see. So that I can't attach a wire here. Well, it's because it's a connector, right? It's already connected to one, I think. I hope. I don't think the multi-block blocks that, but it might. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that works. Another connector here. And then that one. And finally, oh, okay, fancy man. That's not actually connected though, right? It's telling me where it can't connect, but it's not actually connected. Okay, so the only thing that we need to do is get a relay to hook these up because this can't connect. So how to do this? All right, because this is the awkward part. Because of how this is positioned, this is so awkward. I mean, we could just do this and connect this over like that. That looks really weird, but we're going to be moving this anyway as we upgrade the power system, so it doesn't really bother me that much. And at the same time, we also want another one to be over here anyway. And I'm gonna break this just because I don't have the clippers on me right now. I know you can clip those, but we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and that to make it look a little bit nicer. Not that that looks nice, don't get me wrong, I don't think it looks nice, but this whole setup should actually work now. So this should be able to produce stuff perfectly fine, should actually be able to produce stuff pretty fast, and if we look at these, they might not be getting full power because I don't think this has full power. Oh, it does. So these should be getting power. Oh, this isn't set to output. No wonder the thing isn't going fast yet. I was going to say, this is lacking. Okay, now these should be getting power. They are. So this is going to start speeding up because these are going to essentially triple the rate at which it's going to make these. And then what we can do is come out here and I'm going to grab out, I guess, that much coal. We're going to dump that in here, and I'm going to dump all that iron in, and then all the iron that we just got over here from mining, and I'm going to dump all that in. And because we have the hoppers up there, it's going to be able to hold on to it, so I'm able to dump an excessive amount of stuff in there and just kind of let it run and see what it can do. So just going to finish throwing all this stuff back in here. And we'll be able to actually, hopefully, see that in action then. Once I've organized my whole inventory. You guys get to enjoy watching me do that. With my convoluted inventory setup. And then some of this stuff is just junk now. So, there we go. Okay. So everything's getting pulled out of here. We've got full coal in there. And then over here, we can see that it's going pretty fast. We're getting some slag in there, so it does remind me that I do want to make another chest for this, just to put it in the back there. It's not super necessary to pull all this stuff out, so if we just throw this here, it'll dump it in. Also, we're not going to get shocked anymore because I did go and make the Faraday armor like suggested. It uses a bunch of aluminum to make it, but I didn't want to get shocked anymore, so I took the advice in the comments. I got a bunch of upvotes. I listened to you guys, and I made it. So I appreciate that, and hopefully we won't die and lose like 30 levels again, because now we're starting back from square one with trying to enchant stuff. But I think this is pretty much it. I know it's not the prettiest setup. I am going to work on adjusting some of the stuff. I may raise the ceiling by one because I actually like being able to see the stuff being dumped in the top. And there's also the potential, I'm doing a bunch of rewiring in the base. I need to move this. I want to upgrade all the capacitors. everything like that, and start moving stuff. But hopefully you guys can appreciate the slow transformation of the base that's happening. I think it's looking a lot nicer. And one thing I want to say before I hop off for the episode is this is something that people have noticed in the last couple episodes, and I actually addressed in the comments of the last episode, was I record using NVIDIA Shadowplay. It works perfectly fine for me, but apparently it ran into some bugs that a lot of people were experiencing where it was flashing between your game and just for a brief frame, your desktop or some other program. Now, some of you noticed that you were seeing Ragnaros in the last video. That is because I am an avid classic WoW player in my off time. If I'm not playing Minecraft or, maybe some League of Legends with my friends and I'm not at work, then I'm leveling a character in classic WoW. And that was my wallpaper engine background. If you don't know, it's a thing on Steam for animated backgrounds, and it was flipping to that. So I updated Shadowplay, made it so it can't record my desktop, and I made it so that, so that wallpaper engine is not even running in the background, so the program can't accidentally detect it and try and flip to it. So I think the issue should be fixed, but because these videos are 20 to 30 minutes, I do my best to watch through, the whole thing to make sure that there's not that issue. But if there is and you see it, please point it out to me so that I know that there's still stuff that needs to be worked on. But I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I'm having fun actually watching this stuff moving around in the back. But yeah, it looks like we might need to get a little bit more going in the ways of the coal coke production, but I'm pretty happy with this. I would say it's very useful to set up in your world, no matter what, extent you are through the mod, because you can always use more steel, and it's always nice to be able to just dump it in a chest and come back to a bunch of steel. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and I will talk to you later.
Standing in a glass bowl at the end of a black hole, cold lost and upside down.